Happy snow day, AP Bio students. Day number 2. Yay! Just so that you know, what you need to turn in is the Beyond Mendel packet, which most of you already did, Mendel monohybrid and dihybrid, which again most of you already turned in. I will do a quick showing what it is. One, Beyond Mendel has the complete dominance, incomplete dominance, codominance. The Mendel activity, that was the one that had the homozygous heterozygous phenotype, also the dihybrids on it. And then lastly, the genetic linkage map packet, which looks like this. And the one, this is a wild type fruit fly, heterozygous for gray body, and normal wings. These need to be turned in as soon as possible. The test is scheduled for Thursday and Friday of next week, so be prepared. So we have some new information to cover. Of course we do, because it's so much fun. Dominant problems. Dominant problems are problems that show up whenever there's a dominant trait. For example, Huntington's disease is an autosomal dominant trait. A man who suffers from Huntington's marries a woman who does not suffer from it. They have at least one child with Huntington's and 2 without. So what is the father's genotype? If dad has to suffer from Huntington's, then we know he has a big H. And we know that he has to have a little h, just says it right there. Mom does not suffer from Huntington's, so it's a recessive trait. So little h, little h. What's the genotype of the Huntington's offspring? Obviously, if they suffer from Huntington's, they'd have the big H and then the little h. Same problem, show the Punnett square. What are the other offspring genotypes? Big H, little h, little, little. What is the chance that they'll have a normal child? Well, that's going to be 50%, and you can do that by the Punnett square. What is the chance they'll have an affected child? Obviously, 50%. So here are a bunch of mixture of problems. These are all on Blackboard. You can go through and you can do these problems on your own and practice. I'm not going to take the time now because it's all on Blackboard. Human dwarfism is also a dominant trait. Again, this is all on Blackboard. It's the PowerPoint that goes, that's called AP Biology Genetics, or AP Genetics Non-Mendelian, or something along that line. A lot of these are practice problems that I gave you as homework. So the new stuff for today is going to be pedigrees. Pedigrees is a visual representation of your family's genetics. So what type of trait are we showing here? Now, first of all, in order to do this, we have to talk about pedigrees and what they're set up. To show a pedigree, normally we have boxes and we have circles. Boxes are normally males. Circles are normally females. If it's colored in, then it's normally showing that recessive trait, normally. So if I have this case here, let's say it's a normal blonde, blue eyes versus brown eyes. This one here would be little a for brown eyes. This one here could be big A for brown, or big A, little a for blue. Another thing about pedigrees is if I draw my pedigree, this line here says marriage. If I draw lines going off of it with circles and squares, yes, I can draw really well with my mouse. These are kids. Now if I draw a circle off of here, that means that this son, the son of these parents, got married. And so now they have, this family has grandkids, and so on. So if you look at this Punnett square, we have this, what type of trait is this picture? You've got a showing parent with a non-showing parent. This one suffers from the trait, this one does not. And they have a bunch of kids. They have 1, 2, 3 kids. So if I look at it, what can we do? We can guess to see what type of trait it's going to be. For example, if this is little h, this is big H something, I don't know what. This one here could be big H, little h. Does that make sense? Yeah, I got the big H here, got the little h here. This in here would be little, little, which means that one has to be little. This one here would be big and little. Now, how do I know it's big, little? Because they had to have two affected children. All of these would be, here would be a big and something. And these four, I don't know what they are. I would say that they're big something. They could be big H, or if he's homozygous dominant, they could be big H. I don't know. Again, little, little. This one has to be big and a little because of this little, little. Hopefully this is making sense. So, these are, again, possible genetic crosses. These are possible pedigrees for you to practice on. What type of inheritance is this? Well, we have no traits, no traits, no traits, no traits until all of a sudden we're getting here. So we're going to assume it's going to be a recessive trait. What type of recessive trait is there's a whole bunch of different possibilities, which we'll go through. Okay, so just to review, that line there means marriage. That line there means children. We have males not showing the trait, females not showing the trait, males showing the trait, and females showing the trait. So if I look at this and I say headache, little h, big H is no headache. This is a fictitious example. I know for a fact that these four are going to suffer from headaches. So they're little h, little h. Now, I know this one has to be big H, little h because of the little h here. And I know this one has to be a big H, little h. This one, big H, little h again, and big H, little h. Here's a big H, little h because of this recessive, and so on and so forth. These guys are big H, little h because they got the little h from daddy. This one got the little h from daddy again. This in here could be either. I don't know. Probability states that he's probably big H, little h. Actually, probability states he probably should be big H, big H. However, I cannot prove that because I don't know how many kids that they could have had. Again, this one could be both. Free earlobes versus attached earlobes. Again, little e, little e, little e, little e. That one has to be big E, little e. Those two are going to be heterozygous. That one I know is heterozygous. This one here could be either. Normal sided. Now, here's a note. These here, this is a marriage. Were they originally related? No, because this one here, 15, came from 3 and 4, and 14 came from 1 and 2. So, show the Punnett squares. Why do I know that this has to be big N, little n? Because they had 2 little n kids. Again, 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 again. This one here could be both. Probability tells me that he's big N, but I can't rule out this big N, little n. Again, probability could be either. This case here, actually number 7, probability would state that it's big N, little n, because if I cross this, I have 50% chance of getting big N, little n, but I don't know. Again, here, 50% chance. Again, here, 50% chance. Another document to practice on, just to look at different types of pedigrees. Remember, pedigree is a family tree. It shows how trait is passed down from generation to generation. We already talked about this. Already talked about this. So Mr. Heelman is a biology teacher who wants to make a pedigree tracing a simple trait throughout the 3 generations of his family. He decides to trace the inheritance of the hitchhiker's thumb trait. Blackened symbols represents individuals with hitchhiker's thumb. And remember, hitchhiker's thumb is a recessive allele. So if you look at this, we know that these are all recessives. What does these 2 parents need to be? Or actually, Rick and Barb. They're going to both have to have little n's because this one here got a little n there. And we know this one here had to have gotten little n's from both parents. So here we go. So to go back to this killer PowerPoint with these thousands and thousands of pedigrees, you can go through these and practice so that you can learn all the different types of pedigrees. And there are a lot. There are many different pedigrees and many different practice questions on them. So on and so forth. Then there's also online links, and you can go to Blackboard and use the links in the genetics assignment folder. Remember, what you need to be doing is doing your homework. You need to be preparing for the test. The test is going to contain all the different types of genetic problems. The test is going to contain a whole heck of a lot of different types of problems, so you need to practice. Any questions, of course, we'll be reviewing on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday we're going to do a lab called fruit fly genetics. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to do a lab called fruit fly genetics. And we're going to review Huck's genes once again, because that stuff is so much fun, and do a basic review. Thursday, Friday will be our test. If you have questions about pedigrees, come and see me. I hope you guys are enjoying your snow day. Sorry to keep on bombarding you with more and more and more school stuff, but this is AP Biology, and, well, get used to it. See you guys hopefully on Monday.